Hello, investors, and welcome back to Just Randy Stocks. Let's talk about Lucid Motors. This is one of my favorite EV plays because of how strong they are as far as their technology, and for their first product to come out and get the awards that it did from Motor Trend's Car of the Year 2022. I mean, that was just an incredible accomplishment. I'm also going to talk about what you can expect coming up to Q4 earnings. What should you be looking for, listening for? Where do you get the numbers to find the valuation on this play? When is this a good buy? So let's take a look at the technical charts. I've also got a drag race for you. If you've never watched EV cars in a drag race, I've got that pulled up. I want to tell you how Lucid Motors did compared to Tesla. So first, let's take a look at these macroeconomic indicators that could cause some further fluctuation in this price. It could cause some further downward pressure. No guarantees. We could see catalysts coming up in the next couple of weeks where this is the bottom, but let's take a look at these conflict between Ukraine and Russia, these macroeconomic concerns with inflation and rising interest rates, and these growth stocks have really been responding. So what we want to see with the conflict is obviously for that to de-escalate, and inflation is coming out in the CPI numbers, so that's going to happen on February 10th, and then Tesla is a high-profile company, and in their earnings, they revealed that the business would not be debuting any new vehicles this year because of ongoing supply constraints. And you're hearing that not only from Tesla, but the Fed said the same thing, that there's going to be ongoing supply issues this year, and we're not going to see alleviation to those until next year. So those are some of the things that are causing the market to be volatile right now. Now you can expect, and I believe that there is a very high chance that there's going to be some short-term market volatility with these CPI numbers from January. This is expected to go higher. And February 10th, I would say a couple of days prior to that, you could see some volatility leading into February 10th, and actually February 10th could potentially be a red day once these numbers are released. Now, because there's been so much volatility in the market, you could see it completely sink and then recover in the same day. It has just been absolutely wild. So look for those buying opportunities, and this should be before the earnings, which could present you an opportunity to just wait and watch. Now, if we look at the top 20 of EV plays, you could see it is typically the last few days has just been all red across every single EV play. And if you go down on the price charts, you could just see they are all getting to what you would think is support levels in most of these plays. And that's why you're starting to see a change in the price. Some of these are red and some of these are green. Now, these have been red all the way across the board. Continue to watch those kind of linkages that are happening as you filter for consumer cyclical, auto manufacturers, volume, the top 20. That's what I like to do, to just see where are these, are they still interconnected? And Tesla's price, typically it gets support in the $800 range. This is low for Tesla. So one of the first reasons I'm so bullish on this play is their strategy. I think this company is doing a great job of their placement of not only their studio locations, but their service centers. Let's talk about, there's 21 Lucid locations now open in North America. Specifically, this last one last week that looked like it got a lot of traffic when they did their opening was in Newport Beach, California. And if you scroll down here, you can see the majority of those studio locations are located in California. And that makes total sense. It makes me very bullish because California is leading the charge on EV expansion in North America. There's going to be more demand in California. Governor Newsom highlighted California's blueprint investment in the state's infrastructure and clean transportation future. You can see creating a total package of $10 billion that will be invested in affordable cars, clean trucks, and buses. So there's no doubt that EV is on its way to adoption and remains one of the top priorities for the White House and will for this presidency moving forward. Now, also for those of you that weren't aware, Lucid did earn the 2022 Motor Trend Car of the Year, so a massive accomplishment there, and just speaks volumes to their technology. Now, I want you to watch this video of drag times, and I'll show you where to find it. It's a popular YouTube channel. It's probably got about 1 million views on this video, but I've got a couple of clips. The Lucid Air Dream Edition and the Tesla Model S Plaid, they did a race, and four quarter-mile races, the Air Dream only won one. and that's when they turned off this launch mode. And I think it kind of makes Lucid look like they're losing, but I don't believe that they do, because this launch mode, it actually takes several minutes for you to put the Tesla. So if two cars were just sitting at a stoplight, I would give Lucid, according to what I've seen in this video, I would give Lucid the win. But this video is going to show that Tesla's winning. Let's take a look. So you can hear the tires of the Tesla Plaid take off a little bit, and then there's a lot of noise coming from the wind, and then it just gets pretty quiet, considering, I mean, the wind makes some noise, but this made me just a little bit sad for the combustion engine. So if you'd like to watch this entire video at drag times, you can subscribe to their channel, hit that notification bell and their like button, just like you would this channel. Lucid Air versus Plaid, that's where you're going to find it at the 1 minute, 29-second mark. They did get feedback from Lucid about preconditioning options, possibly better performance. Now, I will say we've got one more angle that I want to show you of the same race. You could see that the Tesla Plaid did take off before Lucid about a second prior, and that launch mode or cheetah mode for Tesla Plaid, it takes several minutes to put that into play. And if these vehicles were both sitting at the stoplight at the same time, I think Lucid wins, just based on what I've seen in this video. So this is the outcome you would expect when you look at these vehicles on paper, but I did want to slow it down so that way you could see that at least in this demonstration, Lucid deserved a better driver. So another reason I'm bullish on this play is we have the demand that we need to execute next year. We've got 17,000 reservations as of November 15th of 2021, and we need 18,000 at least, according to analyst targets. Next year, we may have upwards of 20,000, and then we're going to be executing, or we already did execute in Q3, 2 months of 500 to 600 vehicles that we're going to get out. Now, 500 to 600 is the estimate. We'll have to wait and see what's reported in Q4, but according to their build plan, they should be able to do 1,700 vehicles a month or 5,000 vehicles a quarter. That's exactly what we want to see them execute against for them to stay ahead of plan. Now, we just have to wait and see. Now, another thing that you're going to want to watch is, and the thing that I'm bullish about, is they have a lot of cash on hand, which means they're not going to dilute shareholders in the short term, so that's not a risk. So that's another reason that I'm bullish. Now, if you're looking as to how to get estimates on this, and this is an old article, so Tesla's not going to be 13 times right now, or Tesla's not going to be 30, but if you take those 18,000 vehicles that we're assuming that they have of reservations, and you multiply that by a standard price of 100,000 per vehicle, you get 2 billion, and that's where they're getting the numbers for estimates for 2023. Now let's take a look at where they're getting the price. The price is falling right here in between the Dream Edition and Pure. So it's about 100,000 is what they're using roughly. Now, like I said, we'll have to wait and get the numbers in Q4, but that's where they're getting their estimates. You can see on Yahoo Finance, they've got December. The Q4 that we're going to be looking at, they've got it under 40 million. If they hit the 500 to 600 vehicles, we'll be sitting at about 76 million. 76 million, then the emphasis, even though we hit that, is going to be on gross margins, right? So gross margins are not going to look good because we don't have the volume yet. Then you can see the following month, look at how the revenue is expected to take off, because we should be hitting about 5,000 vehicles per quarter. So this is a quarter. We should be going from 5 to 600 to 5,000. That's what we want to see. And then we should be closing this year out at about 86 on the high side. Now, if we hit 76 for just one quarter, that could be incredible. That's 4 analyst targets. So 76 million for one quarter, you could see that almost accounts for this whole thing. And there were some things that they were going to account for in Q4 that they weren't able to take credit for before. So not just the car builds, but some prior activities that they talked about. Once you're complete with 2022, this is what we're looking at, 2.1 billion. That would be the 18,000 vehicles. Now, another thing that we're going to be looking at coming up here very shortly will be the SEC Form 13F filing. You're going to hear people start talking about this, and this is going to have a list of equity holdings that can provide some insight on buying and selling institutional market ownership. So we're going to want to take a look at that. We're going to want to watch that. That could give us some good news. It could give some bad news, but it could cause some volatility. Now, February 14th on Earnings Whisper, this is when they're projecting at 4 p.m. that they're going to have their earnings. But Lucid will announce on their website the official date and time. So right now it hasn't been launched. Now, I will tell you, there's another rumor floating around. You've already heard it, and it could come back, right? By the end of this year, potentially Apple might be choosing a car manufacturer to do their car. I don't see them doing this on their own. I see them working with a company. And who better poised than the car of the year, for Apple to partner with? So that will be interesting to see them moving up that timeline. So Bloomberg did a report on how Apple is accelerating the work on their car project. That could be another catalyst. Now let's take a look at the numbers. This is what the chart is saying. Down here, I haven't moved this since the last time I talked about it. I had this as a buy down here at 24, but did we get support down here at 26? You can see this fell, and it looks like it might have short-term support at $26. Now, I would say be patient on this play. It could go down a little further. This could also run up to 35 leading up to earnings with high earnings expectations. But I will tell you that a dip after earnings could also happen, because even with Tesla, we've seen it happen. Just watch what's happening with everything else. And the CPI numbers, keep some money on the side to cost average down. That's all I got. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Give me a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.